I was just getting a before shot for you.
Cool. What I'm trying to do is get all the crap off her back. To give you an idea how hard this stuff is, I think that's a 80 grit, brand new 80 grit disc. Okay, years ago I figured out a way to, I call it a round cab made easy. Figured out a way to make round cabs probably close to 40 years ago, real easy. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm just going to make one. This is a really nice piece of Marlboro chrysoprase out of Australia. It's probably bought it in the 90s, probably early 90s. Anyway, I flattened the back off, which you saw in a video. I'm going to see what the largest diameter I can get out of this in a cab would be by using my calipers. I'm going to come up about as high as I dare, which is, it comes out at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, I'm going to mark a line like so, and you can see if I can get that round cab out of there, it's going to be pretty round, and being that big in diameter, I should be able to get a real nice higher dome on it. So then I'm going to do that. Then once I slice this off, I'll sand a little bit. Slice this end off where there's a crack down here. I'll slice that off, and then I'll go ahead one more time. Basically, I'm going to make myself a square, and it doesn't have to be square. It can be odd shaped, whatever. But if I'm cutting it out of a piece of slab or something like this, I do my best to get a square, because then you don't have high and low, you have even. So, okay, the blade in the other saw wasn't working that well, so I went ahead and changed over to a higher speed saw and a center blade, so this should go through easier now. Needless to say, this is very hard material. Okay, and while I have this running before we quit the video, I'll show you how to make sure your center blade keeps cutting clean. Ow! Okay, this is just a piece of broken 80 grit corundum wheel. And with the center blades, the diamond's bonded in a bronze, basically. So if it seems like it's cutting a little bit slow, you just fire your blade up and you cut into this grinding wheel a little bit, and then you push it kind of hard. You don't have to go very far, but in doing that exposes new diamond. I know that a friend out of China, oh, that wasn't a center blade, that was one of those great Lopaki blades. Okay, I just went ahead and cut this in an approximate square. It's not perfect, as you can see, but the measurements on it are 770 and 774. The main reason I'm telling you that is if I get my nail glued on here properly, this thing's going to be minimum of 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Okay, what you need to do once you have that done, this being the back of the stone, draw a line from corner to corner. I gotta get something I can see better on. Spin it, draw another line. Boy, these old eyes are getting pretty tired. Okay, and that establishes the center of your stone where those two lines cross. It looks pretty good. Okay, next. These are just, I think they're 8-penny nails. I just bought a box of them at the local hardware store and using my jeweler's lathe, which I know most of you don't have. This still has some glue on it, so I'm going to scrape it off. I'm not going to put the glue on it yet, but because I'm going to have to get my optivisors when I get ready to glue it. What you do, if this is pretty well true to the shank, if this round part's pretty well true to the shank, you just put one small drop of super glue on there, and then visually you lay that nail down to where it looks like the two lines go through that nail head. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my optivisor and my super glue, and then I'll glue it in place. Okay, pretty much any super glue will work. This is a brand new bottle. It's Loctite. It doesn't matter if it's Air and Alpha or whatever. My personal preference is I have a bottle that I can squeeze on pretty easy. And what I'll do is I'll squeeze on the bottle a little bit and then turn it over and just barely put a drop on the nail head. I mean, there's hardly any on there. Okay, then I'll set it down on that X. And if you're, yeah, that one went real quick. That's really close to being X'd through. If the super glue gets a little bit older, it allows you time to make minor adjustments. And another thing I always do is when I'm done with my bottle, I wipe the top, make sure it's nice and clean. I had a friend years ago that I ended up having to cuss out because he always made such a mess of my super glue bottle. Anyway, if you just do those simple things, this glue will get bad before you use it all up. And this is already stuck. I mean, it's stuck. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a while and then we'll go over to the grinding wheel. Okay, I've got this in a collet handpiece. You can use your chuck key handpiece too, and if you'll notice, spinning that, it's pretty well centered on the nail. You know, and if you can see the side of it, it's perfectly flat. You know, if you have that machined face of the nail and glue that on there, the back has no choice but to be perfectly flat, no wobble. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get the machine fired up. Cool. And right at first, what I'm going to do is grind these corners off. Okay, this is a, oops, yeah, the water's working too far. This is a 80 mesh wheel. The only reason I'm grinding these corners off, because if I start spinning this, it'd hit the highest one first. Okay, you just visually try to get it where there's nothing real high. This one looks a little high, so I'll go ahead and grind it off a little bit more. Okay, now the fun begins. Okay, I just put my Fordham wherever it's a good spot for it. If I was doing round cabs all the time, I'd just have a permanent setup. Anyway, okay, turn your Fordham on. You don't need it running super fast. And what you're gonna do is just slowly, oops, I'm on the cord. You're gonna slowly feed this stone into the wheel. You can hear it hitting the high spot. And you can hear it hitting less high spots. Once you get it where you don't hear any high spots, it's still got quite a ways to come down, but now you can see that all of these are cut evenly. And remember, this is real hard stone. And when you hear that bumping noise, they're still flat. Okay, there's one flat left, a real small one, right here. And then you want to hold this real stiff so you don't get bounced. Alright. Okay, there's no more flats, it's round. You know, there's a little bit of garbage coming up on the side here. You know, I'll make a decision on that once I get it shaped. I kind of would just assume that's not in the actual finished stone, so I'll get a little bit of shape on it and see what I think. Okay, now what you want to do is start your dome. You can tell that top wasn't flat. Looks like this moved out of the column a little bit. I need to place it back down inside. Look how far out it is. Okay, now that I actually have the collet tight enough to keep the thing in the hand piece. Okay, there's still some crud on that face, so I'll go ahead and grind this down a little bit more. And I'm trying to make this as high dome as possible. I'm not down on the lower edge yet. In fact, I'll put some marker on there before I start grinding it. My goal right now is to get that face clean to where it's just pure chrysoprase. Felt like there might still be a little bit of a flat on that, but I can deal with that with the smooth wheel. Okay. face a little bit again. See, there's still just a little tiny bit of brown spots in there, but what I'm going to do now is switch out to a less coarse wheel because it cuts really fast, and the smoother one will make things nicer. Okay, I changed it off of that real coarse wheel for one reason, because when you have a hard brittle material like this, if I'd have come around all the way, I would have started making all kinds of chips back here. It also looks like it might not be perfectly round down here, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that edge again on a 260 wheel, and then I'm going to start cleaning this face with that same 260 wheel. Get my water in place. Yeah, I'm going to hit the back edge a little bit to try to make it not be chippy. Okay, let it spin dry a little bit and put some more marker on it. The reason I'm putting the marker on it is so that my arc for my bezel I can see when I'm almost down to the bottom. And now I'll start working the face at 260, and you'll be amazed at how much difference it looks. And the less bouncing noise you hear, the smoother your tab is. So once you have it where you think most of the 80 grit is out of the way, the face is going to be the part where you'll hear that bounce in the nose. It's the same thing when you make these, which we'll do here pretty soon. But you can hear that thing almost go just a smooth noise when I get around here on the side curve. Kind of bring it down. what you need to do is watch this outside edge away from the wheel so you can actually see the shape you're getting. Looks like there's still a little bit of dirt in the face of that. So I'm gonna have to make another real light cut. There's a little bit of an inclusion right there. But other than that, in general, it looks pretty darn good. Okay, now we'll change out to soft diamond wheels, flex wheels, Eastwind products. Okay, this is a Eastwind 400 flex wheel. I'm going to go 4, 6, 12, and then 14,000. We did notice there's a little bit of a off color in this, but you know, obviously I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting it. If it didn't have that little bit of off color in it, it still is a beautiful stone. I shouldn't act like it's not, but if it was pure, it would be outrageously beautiful. Yeah, again, this is incredibly hard stone. Okay, what I'm going to do is get my lube, take a little break and get my lube. You can already see it's getting really glassy. Because the reason I'm getting my lube is I need to inspect the face of this and make sure there's not any large scratches in it still. Because if there is, I need to work those out with this 400 prior to going to the 6. So me and the cameraman are going to take a few minutes break and we'll be right back at it. Okay, I've got this thing domed real nice. but when I ground the back flat, I saw this brown spot in there, and I assumed it didn't intrude very far. But if you look, it goes pretty high up the side of that cab. So what I'm going to do now is I've changed out the wheel. I put a 600 mesh wheel on there. I'm going to grind this diameter down and do my best to get the bulk of that brown off the side, and then I'll go ahead with the 600 wheel and work the face of this some more, because when I was working on it with the flex wheel, I went over and looked at it with the loop, and the flex wheel wasn't taking the 80 grit scratches out, or I guess it was 260 grit scratches. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this with the 600 mostly to get that brown off, and then work the face a little bit, and then go back to the flex wheel. Still quite a bit there. The bouncing you're hearing is this wheel's not running perfectly through. Quails going by. Yeah, this is taking all the fun out of the size. Still pretty bad. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and reshape it, because that would end up being covered by a bezel. Worst case, I'll cut it some more, but I'll go ahead and shape it again. I'm doing. What I'm after right now is a nice smooth zone that works good across the entire face of the stone with a little flat on the face. So that looks pretty good. You know, and the bad thing with that is with that bouncy wheel. So I'm going to go ahead and change over to the, well, I got a little bit of a weird spot there I'll work out, and then I'm going to change over to the 400 again. Yeah, that's starting to get a pretty nice shape. In fact, it's a really nice shape. So here we go to the 400. Okay, I just put a expandable drum on with 400 grit corundum belt. I think it'll go faster, so we'll see. And again, this, as with all expandable drums, this thing bounces a bit. That's one of the reasons I don't really like them, but maybe one of these days I'll invest in one of the super high-tech real blend ones. Probably not. Okay, again, I gotta go over and grab my loop. I should have left it and brought it over, but I don't have it, so I'm gonna go grab it. I'll be back. Almost looks like it's got a crack either. This has a little bit of bumpy on it, so I'm just gonna work on it without the Fordham spinning it. It's gonna spin anyway because this is a ball bearing. You can hear it. What I'm trying to do is keep it from not spinning a whole lot because I'm trying to get the kind of a fasten on it that I'm not happy with. You could just put it at an angle a little bit, it'll immediately start spinning. That's what I do when I make my beads. You know, the name of this video is Round Cabs Made Easy, which this proves. You know, and obviously depending on the hardness of the stone you're cutting, it still might take a while. You know, but that's starting to look pretty darn good. Looks like most of the scratches, if not all of them, are out. Okay, now what I'll do is change over to a 600. I'm just going to continue to do these, just letting the machine spin, because that's how I make my beads, and I'm so used to doing that, and it's more second nature to me. This is a 1200 mesh flex wheel. Again, I'm just going to let the machine spin the cab. Trouble with some of these foam-backed wheels, unless you want to spend forever trying to get it to run through. Some of them can't even get to run through. And it's not like this isn't running almost true. It's just not up to my standards. I like precision. Sorry, guys. Okay, that should be pretty smooth. And if so, we'll just go to 14,000. I don't see any major scratches, which is a good thing. You see, it's probably an optical illusion, but I see over that part of the cab. I just want to work on a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and change over to 14,000. Again, I just put a 14,000 mesh flex wheel on here. I'm going to go ahead and work the face of the stone and down to the edge, and it's looking to me like I'll be able to get this thing 90% finished over here. I'm so picky on how I like to finish on my stone. I'll probably end up finishing the final polish on this thing will be done on my wooden wheels, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up to 14,000 so you can see that it comes out pretty darn nice even if that's all you do. Yeah, I'm just kind of floating this. I'm not pushing real hard because this wheel's running nice and true. And if you have to push to have it maintain some contact to the wheel, that isn't too conducive to getting a real nice smooth cut. I'm sure this helps immensely. Okay, I'm gonna look. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go over the face once more. To 99% of the lapidaries out there, they say it was muy bueno. Which it is, but I think they call it OCD, or I call it anal. Okay, there goes anal one. One more pass. It's looking really nice. I mean, it's pretty darn nice. Yeah, I'm going to take it off, but I want to talk a little bit. In fact, I'll let Greg turn that off and we'll talk after. Okay, you just saw a little bit of time. You know, I'm working on an extremely hard stone and doing my best to get a real perfect dome on this. If you were doing this with soft stone, you could do it a cab like this in, I don't know, 10 minutes maybe. And if you were trying to do this freehand with a hard stone, there's no way that you could get the perfection that's in this round stone. You know, it's got a nice dome. I'm going to end up going over to my diamond and wood and go over it once again with 14,000, because once I do that right now up top here, because I couldn't really keep it spinning nice when I came down over the top of the stone, I can just take it now to my 14,000 wood and go over this whole face, and it's going to be glassy. I went ahead and left that little bit of brown in there, because if you set this in like a ring with any kind of a bezel, you can cover that up, and even if that showed a little bit, I mean, it's just a rock, you know, and rocks, very few of them do you get perfect out of. You know, I could grind it down some more and this, that, and the other, but obviously I'm not going to. I might, you know, I'm going to go ahead and finish the video and put it online, and I may end up working on this some more. As long as I don't take it off that nail, it's good to go. Just put it back in the handpiece. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you to Mr. Greg for doing the video.